Welcome, everyone, to the Geeb Podcast. I'm your host, Uncle Geeb, and with me is nobody. We record this podcast live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With this podcast on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can also become a member of this podcast and really support us, help us out. We appreciate you guys so much for that. This week is a special one. We are without Drip. Drip Media Gaming is not with us this week. He's been fired again. You know what that means? Oh, I can't play the sound. It's on this board. You know what that means, guys? Caffeinated Dieback is new host. He'll be here next week. No, I don't know. No, but I fired Drip, as we always do. No, Drip's this year, not with us this week. He's not available to be here, but I am, and we're going to do the show anyway. Try to keep up with the weekly shows for you guys. And we got to go in this week because there's a ton to talk about in the world of Nintendo Switch 2. And the biggest one is the fact that game key cards are still here, and they still suck. That's right. They're terrible. I hate them. I hated them when they were announced. I hated them after people were like, oh, I don't. They're kind of better than the cards in the box. And I still hate them now. The fact that there's so many of them, like every damn release right now is a key card, and I can't stand it. And we're going to talk all about that. But first, before we do, I want to talk to you guys about a potential of a Nintendo Direct happening soon. I would imagine. At this point, it's September. I think anybody who's telling you that it's going to be in August is selling you snake oil. And the biggest reason why is the fact that we have Gamescom on August 20th through the 24th. So, and Nintendo has already announced that they are going to be present at Gamescom. They kind of announced what they're going to be showcasing as well at Gamescom. And let's show you guys on the screen right now what that is. So here you go. So they have some things at Gamescom. Nintendo has officially announced this photo of images of games that they're going to be talking about and showcasing at Gamescom. And please, if you're watching this podcast, don't mind this devilish man below me. Just keep your eyes right up here, okay? Cool. That's for the visual people only. So there's some obvious ones that they're going to be showcasing at this Gamescom. The first one here is Pokemon ZA. Not that surprising. I'm really not surprised that Pokemon ZA is a game that they're going to be talking about at Gamescom. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense. It's a game that's coming out very soon. It's a game they want to promote. It's published by Nintendo. They've invested interest in the company, literally and figuratively. So obviously ZA is going to be one that they're going to be showcasing a lot here. Another one that's obvious here, Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's already out, but they want to showcase, get that, and but that's a selling point. It's already out. You can buy it today. You know, look at it here, Gamescom. Look how cool this game is, and you're missing out on. You can pick it up today. And Donkey Kong might be the game of the year. I'm not sure. Can't tell you for certain, but I can tell you right now, it's a great game. I freaking love it, and a lot of people in the community as well really do love it. So Donkey Kong is a game that is obvious that it'll be showcased, as well as Mario Kart World. Of course, Mario Kart World is a game that they're going to be showcasing. It's Mario Kart, man. And just like the next one, Mario Party plus Jamboree TV, I mean, it's another obvious one they're going to be showcasing. So anything else obvious here? I mean, Cyberpunk's a pretty obvious one. It's the biggest third-party game on Nintendo, at least in terms that they are promoting. It's the biggest game that they're trying to promote on their platform. And GameCube Online, that's cool. I want to see what they have to show for GameCube Online. I imagine they're not going to show anything new. But what we have, I already know, is cool. Maybe I want to see some Mario Paint at Gamescom. That'd be kind of fun. And then, not when it's obvious, but just like, okay, FC26, basically FIFA for what used to be FIFA, now called FC26. I mean, that makes kind of sense of being at this, I suppose, sports game, just kind of show it off. And Borderlands 4, it's not obvious, but not relevant to the point I want to bring up here in this one. So if you're watching it, I skipped a few of the games here, and we're going to talk about this here. There's a few games in this list that I find are interesting that they're talking about at Gamescom. I kind of listened to RGT talk about this one. So shout out to RGT for giving me a little talking point here. But I agree with RGT. There's a few games in this list that are very interesting to be there. This first one's not very surprising that it's going to be there, but it's going to be Metroid Prime 4. It's kind of obvious, like they're going to show off that game. They showed it off plenty already in person to people. With I think Prime 4 already have its own like little presentation? I don't know if it did or not, but I know it was at the in-person Nintendo events where Drip actually went and played it. So it's pretty obvious it'll be there. Well, it's not obvious. It's here. Let me just get to the point here. It doesn't have a release date. None of these games have release dates, right? So Metroid Prime 4 is going to be showcased in a week plus on a national stage. a worldwide stage, really, without a release date. I just find that fascinating that they're going to show this game off in detail to the masses, and then when they go to look up the game, they're going to see that they can't even pre-order it because it doesn't have a release date yet. So that's the first game, and that's the most interesting one in my opinion because it's a Nintendo game, like Nintendo's own game that they're promoting at Gamescom, and they're going to be showing it off. And if anybody is interested in watching, that's the whole point, right? Is to show this game off and to, showcase it to people who are maybe going to be future customers for them for this game. And if they're at the event, they say, "Oh man, this Metroid Prime 4 looks insane. I can't wait to use my Joy-Con controllers to play this game with. Let me go check it out. What's the price? This, that, what's going on with it? Let me go check it out in the eShop." And there you go. It says that it's unavailable, but it's scheduled to be released. It's just you think they would showcase this with a release date, and I'll move on down the list here. Elden Ring, Hades 2, Final Fantasy Intergrade, and Silksong even. Silksong is a game that they're announced here. Nintendo has announced to us that they're going to be showing it off at Gamescom. And there's no release date for it. Now, that's not Nintendo's fault, really, but it's still really, are they good? I don't know. I'm already going to start the speculation spree here. Are we going to see release dates at Gamescom for these games, including Metroid Prime 4? What does that mean? If they do, what does that even mean? Like, what's the implications of that? But Silksong is a game. People have been waiting for Silksong for so long. Literally as long as Metroid Prime 4. Years. This is going to be year 8 next year. If it goes into next year. Year 8 for both of those games. Still no release date, but here they are going to be on a national stage showcasing the game. Silksong, Metroid Prime 4, Elden Ring. It still boggles my mind why we don't have a release date for Elden Ring yet. It's a game that's pretty obvious to be on Switch too. In fact, we know it's going to be there. And not only do we know it's going to be there because Nintendo told us, but Nintendo also told us here via this poster for Gamescom that they're going to be showcasing it on their hardware with no release date. Why, Nintendo? Why would we showcase? Where's the release date? Just give us a release date. That they can change it. They have done it in the past for games that they have announced previously. They changed the dates on us. Why not just give us a freaking date and then change it if you need to later? We won't like it, but it's not like we're not used to it. It happens all the time in this generation, especially in the last generation for a long time. This has been the thing. Final Fantasy. What's the exact name here? Final Fantasy. Oh, you guys can see this. May I go like this? Final Fantasy 7 Remake Intergrade. Final Fantasy 7 Remake Intergrade. Again, this game's been rumored to come to this system before the system was announced. This game was rumored to come there. Okay? It was rumored to have a playable demo before the Switch 2 was ever announced. Months before it was announced. Was rumored to play a playable demo. And we know it's coming. They told us it's coming. They told us it's coming to Gamescom. They're going to be showcased on Switch 2 hardware, but yet we still don't have a release date. Hades 2 is another one I threw in there. Hades 2. I mean, I've been playing Hades 2 for the past year plus on Steam via the beta. Why isn't Switch 2 part of the beta? Why wasn't an immediate ported over Switch 2 on release day for Hades 2 beta? Why? Is that Nintendo's fault? Is that the people who make Hades' fault? I'm not sure with the developers' names, the publishers, or anything. My apologies for that. Just doesn't make a lot of sense, man. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense why these games are going to be shown off. That's not the part that doesn't make sense. Of course, it makes sense why these games are being shown off. They're big ones, first-party and third-party games, and an indie title, right? It's a good little mixture of games, honestly, for Gamescom. It's a perfect little list. But it'd be more perfect if the games had release dates. People are going to be interested in buying these titles on your platform, Nintendo, and you're going to lead them astray when they go to look at your eShop, or go to Walmart.com and search these games up, and they're going to find out they can't buy it. And guess what? Elden Ring, that's a game you can buy right now on any other platform. Final Fantasy 7 Remake Intergrade, a game you can buy on any other platform. Hades 2, a game you can get on Steam right now and play. Beta. Silksong's the only one. Oh, and Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4 and Silksong are the only two that you cannot buy anywhere else, right? So exclude those from this argument that I'm trying to make right now. But this argument is you're going to be promoting these games. Elden Ring, Hades, Final Fantasy, and you're not going to give anyone a way to give you money for them. You're a business, Nintendo. It doesn't make a lot of sense why you're going to be promoting these games. Yes, you're going to be promoting them on your hardware, and you're probably going to be talking a lot about Switch 2 features in regards to these games. So that's how you're justifying it. You're justifying it by going, well, it's going to be on our platform. And it's going to be, people are going to want to buy it on Nintendo. They're not going to want to buy it on PS5 because of Nintendo. I understand that. But the point still remains is that you're promoting these games without giving people any way of pre-ordering them or even telling them when it's coming out. Like with Metro Prime 4, I think it says 2025 on the eShop. I'm not sure if the rest of them have like a little, placeholder thing, but I know they all say not available yet. And you can't pre-order it yet. And the prices aren't there yet. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me of why they're doing this. So let's talk about the kind of why they're doing this. One reason would be, guys, is that there's going to be no direct. I mean, I'm not saying there's going to be no direct ever. I'm not saying there's going to be no direct in 2025. But if there's a direct in 2025, it's pretty much has to be September or it's not happening. If you think about it. It could be October. I could see an October direct. November one would be very bizarre. And just absolutely no way in hell is there going to be a December direct unless it's like the end of December. And in that case, they might as well push it to January, which would be way more likely. Your odds from getting a direct in December going to January increase exponentially. Is that a word? I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense, guys. But it could if there's no direct. Because we might see dates for these games at Gamescom next week. As well as games that we're still waiting for. I don't have a list in front of me of games we're still waiting for, but there's other games we're still waiting for that need dates that could come in Twitter drops later. So that could kind of explain why they're doing the way they're doing it here, is that they're going to give the people the release dates during Gamescom. Talking about these games and be like, hey, and guess what? Wasn't a release date, but guess what? There is now. Boom, drop the date right here for Metro Prime 4. Boom, Elden Ring. This is what's coming out. Hades. Boom, coming out next year. Silk Song. This year, guys, holiday. Final Fantasy. You know what I mean? So, again, no direct. That's kind of what we're looking at here. I expect some Twitter drops. We have gotten Twitter drops. I have not gone as far as to look up what we've gotten, but I know there's been not necessarily dates. Nintendo's been active on social media talking about their games. I think Dragon Drive is a big one right now because it's coming out tomorrow. So I could be confusing it with that, but regardless, there are reasons for Nintendo doing what they're doing right now, and it could be if there's no direct. But the case still remains here, guys. How can we go a full 6 months with Switch 2 and not see a full direct? Well, I can answer my own question. Twitter drops. My Nintendo app, right? Just drop the dates on there. They don't need a full direct. They had their biggest banger full direct right before the Switch 2 launched, and then they launched it. And there you go, right? That's kind of that could be Nintendo's thought process. We did the one big one. We gave you 10 minutes of hardware and 50 minutes of insane big AAA title releases for the next year or two, and we dropped our mic and we stay silent the rest of the year. We just kind of use our My Nintendo app. We use Gamescom and we use Twitter drops to announce the rest of the titles coming to Switch 2 for the foreseeable future. Or there could be a direct in September. There could be. We got some rumors. Apparently, Zach from Switchforce is now an official leaker. Who would have thunked it? I don't know if I trust him. I don't know if I believe him. I have no idea. I think Zach was a really nice guy when we talked to him on the show a couple years ago. But other than that, I got no idea what's going on there. He got right. He got some stuff right. When his recent predictions, he got some stuff right. And he's predicting that there's no direct in August, but I think the last thing he said that I saw was that September is a date to look at. He's being very vague about it. I mean, yeah, I've been saying it for months. September is a good idea for Nintendo. That's the month to do the direct, if not before, obviously. But after September, you're kind of pushing it, Nintendo. You're gonna have to do something. I mean, we're literally running out of time for Metro Prime 4 in particular. For a 2025 release. I mean, we're literally running out of time. They could announce it the month before it comes out. I guess they could do that. Is that going to be in a direct and a Twitter drop by Nintendo? Who knows? But these things are all very interesting, folks. Very, very interesting. Apparently, when Drip's not here, I talk like President Joe Biden. Folks, let me be clear. Okay, Drip's not here, so I can't do a perfect segue, but I'm going to segue this part of the podcast to our sponsor ad, and that's going to be through Savage Raven. Thank you guys at Savage Raven for sending over this case for us, and thank you for sponsoring today's episode. They got a ton of products. If you didn't know, Savage Raven, formerly known as Skull & Co., they've got a ton of products exclusive for Switch 2 that can help you protect your new investment, as well as make playing on your new beautiful 8-inch screen a bit easier with grips. And I don't have the latest one with me, but I can show you the Neo Grip that I have with me right here. And their latest grip is actually the grip case for Switch 2. It's an incredibly good product. Let me switch over the screen here. Bang. Here's the grip case right here. It is $3 to $33. You can use code DRIPMedia and save 10%. So make sure to do that. But yeah, the Savage Raven Skull & Co. grip case is an incredible product. It's basically this Neo Grip, but it's got a full rubber coating on the outside to protect the parts that the Neo Grip does not protect. So it actually has also functionality for these, these Skull & Co. grips that you can slide in and off. The same functionality goes for the grip case, but adds that added protection. Not only that, it comes in different colors, black and blue, but not black, blue, and red. But not only that, guys, it's dockable, which is like the biggest thing for me. I can't wait to get my hands on one of these because I want to try it out. It's a full case with nice coverage as well as dock compatibility. That Drip's already said that's his new favorite, and that might be his winner. I don't know, man. It might be my winner too. I'd have to try it out though. So, but I can tell you right now, it's an incredible product. And so is everything else that still not Satisfy. Everything else that's Skull & Co. Savage Raven. All of them have S's and it confuses me. I apologize. But yeah, they're great products. And I still to this day I have my rubber stick caps on, the mask protector from Savage Raven. Great stuff. But that grip case is really cool. If you want to save 10%, use code DRIPMedia. And you can also use the link in our description. Just go right to the website. And thank you so much to Savage Raven for sponsoring today's episode. I don't have the sound that Drip is supposed to play, so I'm going to play a different one. And that's a nice little another segue I'm going to use right now, guys, because I want to remind you guys that every year, Dripper and I, with the help of our community member Aiden, do a fantasy football league every year, and this year's no exception. This year, the link is in the description, by the way, if you want to become a member of the Dripper G Fantasy Football League and get exclusive access to a private Discord room in our Discord server where we talk about the Fantasy Football League. You can do that. I believe we have 3 spots this year. Most people came back this year, so there's only 3 spots left. We've maxed out the full 12 people you can have, except for right now we have 3 spots open. So if you want to join, right now you have your chance. There's 3 slots left, so go there, click the link in the description to be a part of that. I'm going to throw this link right now in this podcast live chat for the people in the live stream. If you want to join our Fantasy Football League, it's through ESPN. It's free. No purchases. No, we're not betting anything real. I don't know if Drip usually has something to give away for the winner. I don't know if he's doing that this year, but yeah, that's gonna be fun. John Ebo of Communication Era Podcast. Do I have any sounds that is like boo? No, but I'm just gonna go like this. Boo, boo to Johnny because he won. Jalen Hurts didn't get hurt. Uncle Geeb would be champion. I'm just saying. But guys, that leads me to the next little product here, or excuse me, the next topic here, which is gonna be, drumroll please. I have been waiting to yell about this for weeks. And it's not like I haven't yelled about this before. If you guys know, this is the 3rd video / podcast that we've done on this channel, on this podcast feed, talking about game key cards. I hate them. I've hated them from the start. I'm an OG hater of game key cards. I'm going to make a rap song about how much I hate them. That's how bad I hate game key cards. People have said that they're good. They were from and people are still saying now. They're still saying that they're a better option than the codes in the box. I have to respectfully disagree that they are better than the codes in the box. It's a personal preference thing. That's like saying, I prefer pears over apples. They're both equal, right? In this case, pears and apples are great. In this case, game key cards and codes in the box are terrible. But the point remains the same because both things are equal to each other. In this case, they're both bad. They're both very bad. However, they both have their advantages, disadvantages. The advantages of the game key card is that you can resell them and you can share them with friends, trade them, do those types of things. And it is on physical media in terms of there's no digital trading. It's a physical trade. You can literally hand somebody your game key card. Can't do that with a code in a box. However, with a code in a box, you enter that code into your Switch, you download the game in your system, and you never worry about it again. You don't got to carry with the burden of a cartridge with you around all the time for a digital game. That's the part I don't like about it. Some people don't understand it. Some people don't mind that. That's fine. But I mind it. If I'm going to burden myself with a little baby cartridge that I have to carry around with me, it is a burden, right? We have these mega carry cases, these max carry cases, these slim cases that have these cartridge slots, built into them. We have them for a reason because we have cartridges we need to lug around. If we didn't have them, that would be kind of nice. It's in a perfect world, it would be nice, right? That's kind of the argument for the for and against key cards, right? But there's a whole other issue that's going on right now. I don't recall, guys, last gen. If you recall, correct me. Was like every game coming out a code in a box? Was it like an epidemic of an issue during the Switch 1 era that every game that was coming out was a code in a box? Or was it just like a handful out of a sea of thousands? I think is what it was. I think it was just a handful of codes in a box out of a sea of 1,000 games. Inconvenienced when you did get them. And in fact, I avoided codes in the box last gen because I didn't want them. Because most games, I would just buy digitally. The same advice I gave people last gen. If you don't like code in the box, buy digitally. I give you the same advice. If you don't buy a key in the card, don't buy a key card, don't buy a code in the box, buy digitally. It's just bad. And actually, I take that back a little bit because at least a code in the box gives you a physical thing that you can collect. You can throw it on a shelf and say, look, I have this. And it's a digital game. That's kind of nice. That is kind of nice. I mean, some people ignore that with the key cards. Some people want the cartridge specifically. I want the artwork to display. No longer are the cartridges big, like, big clunky boxes you can display clearly. They're tiny little you can't see them. You can't really display the Switch 2 cartridge. It's not really happening. But you can display the box. You can display the box. So I actually feel like codes in a box this gen have gotten better because key cards are a thing. Some people think key cards are a replacement to them. I think that only made codes in the box more enticing for me, personally. I've just decided personally I'm going for all digital this generation. Besides a few titles, I did buy Donkey Kong physical, I'll buy Zelda physical, I'll buy Mario physical. So there are a few exceptions for me. But it's forced my hand this generation. And what was I saying a second ago? Oh, right. Last gen, were we having an issue where there was a ton of codes in a box? No. It was like a handful out of a sea of physical games. Well, folks, I do have to unfortunately break the news to you that this generation is not only plagued with key cards, but it's just flooded. Like, you can't walk into a Switch 2 area without seeing a mass amount of key cards. And here is a list of every Switch 2 game with a key card release. I'm going to read every single one of them, and you're going to sit here and listen to them. Okay? Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster. Borderlands 4. Chronos The New Dawn. Domina Ex Machina. I can't pronounce that. I apologize, but, we'll move on. Disagree. Oh, that's another. Some of these are really hard to pronounce. Listen, I don't know how to say this. Sorry. Moving on. Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero. Dragon Ball Quest. EA Sports. Full Metal Schoolgirl. Hitman. Hogwarts Legacy. Kunitsu Gami. Little Nightmares 3. Madden Football's NFL 26. NBA 2K26. What is with these names, man? Nonagunas? Sure. No Sleep for... What are these names? I'm sorry. These games I don't play and these names are not English. No Sleep for Kaname Date. Octopath Traveler 0. Pac-Man World 2 Repack. Persona 3 Reloaded. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S. Raduo, sure. Remastered. Shrine Post B, Your Idol, Sonic X Shadow Generation, SpongeBob SquarePants, we're almost done, Star Wars Outlaws, Street Fighter 6, Suikoden 1 and 2, HD Remastered, Survival Kids, The Legend of Heroes, Trails Beyond the Horizon, Wild Hearts S. Are you still with us, or have you left the show? Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, Wise X. What are these names, guys? What games are you playing? Wise X Proud Nordics. Sure, that's a Japan one only. That's the end of this list. By the time that you're listening to this episode, there will be more. That's a lot. We should read it again for a dramatic effect. Bravely Default. No, I'm just kidding. We're not doing that. That's a lot, guys. Hey, let's do something fun. Let's read the games that are on physical cartridges. They're actually on the cartridge. That's fun. I bet you we're gonna be here forever. I just read that whole list to you guys, the key cards. This is gonna be Matt. We're gonna be here for a long time. Buckle up, guys. Buckle up. This is gonna be a long, long list because, right? I mean, key cards, they're not a problem. It's fine. It's like last gen with a code in a box. Just like one out of a sea of cards. Let's read this ginormous list of physical games that are actually on a cartridge. Cyberpunk 2077. Domina that same one I can't pronounce. Domina Machina. Donkey Kong Bonanza. Kirby. Mario Kart World. Metroid Prime 4. Mortal Kombat. Pokemon ZA. Rune Factory. Story Seasons. Super Mario Jamboree. Legend of Zelda. Oh, were you waiting for more? I'm sorry. Were you waiting for more? Were you expecting a bigger list? Do you see the issue that I have with key cards now? Do you see this issue? I foresaw this issue, guys. Not a lot of people agreed with me. I'm not saying that I thought every game was coming out in the key card, but I did say this is going to be a problem. I'm gonna read that second list again, not the long one, the second list of games that are actually on a cartridge, but I'm gonna read them again, but leave out first party Nintendo titles. Because of course those are coming out first party. Cyberpunk 2077, the game I can't pronounce. Mortal Kombat, Rune Factory, Story Seasons. End of list. I'm pausing for dramatic effect. I hope it's working. If you can't see that key cards are a problem, even if you think that they're better than codes in a box, you're mad. You're out of your mind if you think that they're not a problem. I mean, it's such a huge issue. And I don't really care if you're going to comment to me right now in the live chat, if you're a troll, if you're in our YouTube comment section or listening on audio platforms and want to leave a comment there. If you're somebody who's going to tell me right now that you don't care about key cards because you can resell them and trade them, just give me a break. Give me a break with that. I'm so tired of hearing that argument. If you didn't think you owned your media already, this is just another reminder that we don't own our media. And by you enabling it, by buying the key cards, defending the key cards, saying it's not a problem, you are the problem. These companies will stop doing this if you speak with their wallet and you don't buy a key card cartridge and you verbally acknowledge it's a problem. Speaking of that, Nintendo gave us an outlet to verbally say how much we can't stand key cards. There was a survey that went out. Now, it wasn't a survey for key cards. Let me be clear about that. It wasn't a survey that was specifically about key cards, but it turned into that. And as you can see from this Nintendo Life article, update, the survey has closed. The survey closed not too long after when I took the survey, maybe a day later. I forget exactly what the survey was. You can. I didn't link this article, but I can link it for people in the live chat. I'm sorry, but for those of you later listening to this episode or watching it, I'll have it linked in the description for you to check out so you can read. I don't remember what the article was about originally. Excuse me. I don't remember what the survey was about originally, but I do know that it turned into a big vocal way for us to hate keycards. There was a part where you could write in the text box, and I wasn't rude. Of course, I was very respectful of what I wrote because I'm not an asshole. I'm sure there's plenty of people who took it too far. But I made it well known that key cards were a problem multiple times throughout that survey. And in fact, there was a few questions in the survey that did highlight. You were able to highlight, or Nintendo enabled you to like click an option that was like, I don't like key cards. Like whatever. Again, I don't remember exact details about the survey, but essentially Nintendo did acknowledge. I think the survey was a kind of a quiet way for Nintendo to test the waters of the survey. And it got out of hand because it was being spread around Twitter and social media in general. And it just turned into this thing where it's an outlet for people to complain about key cards, which is a good thing. Continue to complain about things you don't like in the world. It makes change, okay? I hope Nintendo got a message here. I hope they got the message. Initially, my stance on key cards was it wasn't Nintendo's fault. And then I learned later that Nintendo only is offering a 64 gig cartridge, which is going to be way too expensive for games like Puyo Puyo Tetris and some other games on that list of keycard games. It's not all their fault. It's not all Nintendo, and it's not all on the publishers. It's a mix of both. Who is it mainly on, though? It is Nintendo. Ultimately, for not offering another option besides a 64 gig cartridge of a new storage platform that is expensive. These smaller games that can't justify buying a 64 gig cartridge for like the 2 gigabyte game, and their game's only going to cost like $20, they can't justify spending $10, $15, maybe $20. We don't know the exact prices of what these things cost for these, for Nintendo and for the developers and publishers, but what we do know is it's expensive. Last gen, I think it was a few dollars at most to buy a Switch 2 cartridge or buy a Switch 1 cartridge. It was a few bucks, if that. This gen, it's got to be double digits, like $10 or more, and that's cutting into the margins of some of these companies way too much that they literally can't afford to do that. But key cards offer them a solution for that. It allows them to get into retail stores where normally they wouldn't be there. Last gen, they weren't in retail stores because they didn't want to buy cartridges then. This gen's no different, but now they can. Now they can just spend pennies and get a key card and be on a retail shelf next to the Zeldas, the Mario Karts, the Mario Parties, Cyberpunks. Enables them to do that. It's very enticing for them. That's why they're going to do it. But Nintendo needs to give these companies another option that's not a key card. The issue is Nintendo offering key cards. While I do see the good in them for the overall gaming landscape, they're terrible. They are terrible for us, the consumer, mostly. Because, again, like I said a second ago, if you already thought that you didn't own your media, if you do think you own your media, who are you? But if you understand already that you don't own your media, this is just another dagger into us, the consumer. You don't own anything. Now, digital games, same problem. I'm not being a hypocrite here. I understand that these key cards are no different than digital games. No different in terms of that argument. It's just at this point a choice that you have to make. I prefer the game to be on the cartridge, the data to be on the cartridge. Period. Look what you can do these days with emulation. If you have the cartridge that you bought, you can. It could be a GameCube cartridge, let's say. Those were discs. N64 cartridge. You bought it years ago. And it's the same for discs, by the way, but we're talking about cartridges here. N64 cartridge. You can plug it into a little device that plugs into your computer via USB. You can take the file off of that's the important part here. There's a file on that thing. You can take it off 30 years later. You can take the file off, put it in your computer, and play your game better than ever. In the future with Switch 2 games, with my copy of Donkey Kong, I'll be able to put the Switch 2 cartridge in my computer via USB, take the file off, put it on the computer, and play it better than I ever could before. That's enticing to me. That's why I bought it physically. Along the fact that I want to collect that game because it's a collector's item to me as well as a game. You can't do that with a key card. Now, it's not like we're not talking about piracy here. We're not talking about taking your data off and giving it out to people on the internet. We're talking about for your own use here, your personal use, to have fun with it. They're taking that away from us quietly. And there's people who are defending that. And that's what makes me upset the most, is people are defending keycards. You have to understand it's worse for us. It's worse for the consumer. We are consumers. This is bad for us. Fuck keycards. Fuck keycards. If I had Drip, he would be rebuttaling right now. I don't have Drip to rebuttal with. So I'm going to rebuttal with the chat. In this next segment, I like to call... talk in the chat. That's what this segment's called, Talk in the Chat. We're going to spend, how long has the stream been going? We're going to spend probably 15 minutes reading some questions from the Discord, which I asked you guys earlier in the episode to send me some questions in Discord. The link to our Discord is in the description if you want to be a part of this in the future. And I'm going to ask you guys in the live chat to leave me some questions that I can read live on air. If you've already asked me a question that I did not read yet in this podcast, type it again, copy and paste. If you do like a super chat, I'll really be able to see it. So forgive me if I miss your message. You might be typing your message in multiple times. Copy and paste it. I'm just going to give you that recommendation. Work with me here. Work with me, people. Let's see here. I asked the people to give me their questions. Actually, I asked people to give me questions, comments, and concerns. Any of it. I left it an open door. About key cards, possible full Nintendo Direct in the coming weeks, and why Geeb is better than Drip. I answered one of these questions earlier, so let's get to the next one here. PowerMad in the Discord. PowerMad asked, game key cards. What will happen to the resale value when Nintendo stops its server support for it? It's a great question, PowerMad. The answer is there will be zero resale. Maybe you'll get a couple pennies, couple bucks, right? Inflation will be wild. A penny will be $3 in the future, but you'll get a couple bucks out of your key card just for the box, but it's going to be worth nothing. Resale will be nothing. Now, granted though, PowerMad, that's going to be 30 plus years in the future because we still have Wii. There's the Wii eShop. You can still read. I think you can download your games still from the Wii eShop. I think. Definitely from the Wii U. So 15 years. I think you're going to be safe for like 30 years, I feel like. We don't know though. We'll find out in the future. Let's see. Coke Baby here says... do you think it's too early for Twilight Princess to be in the next Direct? Yes. I think this is a troll question, so I apologize for even reading it. But Coke Baby, I don't know what you expected me to answer, Coke Baby. If you're being legit and you want my answer, I'm going to say I don't think so. I don't think Twilight Princess is coming to the Switch 2. At least not anytime soon. Also, do you recommend the Switch 2 at $450 with the current offerings of exclusives if someone has already played Switch 1 games for several years? Yeah. Yes. I encourage you, if you're, for some reason, listening to this podcast and don't have a Switch 2, but you're thinking about it, and you've played your Switch 1, and you're still playing it, you're like, I don't know if I really need a Switch 2. Yes, if you want a Switch 2, get it now before the prices go. We were talking about this a couple weeks ago, or was it last week, with Switch 1 price increases and Switch 2 accessory price increases. Switch 2 is next. It's a matter of when, not if. So get your Switch 2 now before the price goes up. And besides that, for $450, yes, I can recommend it. Dude, like, this is my favorite piece of tech of this century. I think of this century, this is my favorite piece of tech. Right here. Switch 1 was my favorite piece of tech, and now this is taken over. This is such a good piece of tech right here. I missed one question too here. PowerMed says, as far as why Geeb is better than Drip, that's easy. Geeb don't claim to love Zelda and then sell his Zelda stuff to buy a second PS5. I have to concur with that. Oops, wrong button. I have to concur with that because he left a little video message here. It's muted. Hold on. If there's anything that we know about Nintendo, it's that they can do anything at any time whenever they want. Let's read that again. If there's anything that we know about Nintendo, it's that they can do anything at any time whenever they want. Yeah. They can do anything. What did I say? I don't even know what I said. They can do whatever they want. Yeah. I don't know how that's relevant, but I love that sound clip that PowerMad has pulled out for me. So thank you, PowerMad. Yeah. Although PowerMad, I'm not gonna lie, I did almost do that. I'm not gonna tell you what happened, but I almost did sell a Zelda Switch Lite for a PS5 Pro. I did. I didn't. But I almost did. The Pitsy comes in with a question right as I speak. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man. Do you mow the Muffin Man? Do you mow the Muffin Man? No, I don't know him. Although I some days I feel like a muffin myself, so maybe I do. Let's see. Is there any questions in the live chat here? Let's see. Before we go to we're gonna go to the after show to get some more questions. But let me see. Anything on the show? I don't know. Proto in the chat says Protable. Sure. Whatever. How am I so cool? I don't know. Thanks for saying that. That's really nice of you. This podcast is now over. I'm going to go transition to the after show. But for you guys listening on audio platforms, those of you listening in the stream or watching the stream, stick around. We're going to do a little after show for you. But those of you watching this podcast at home or listening on your car drive to work later, I'm going to sign off for now and see you guys next week.
Nintendo, every single show.